of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening. Welcome to an A.H.A.D moment once again. I'm your host today, Fakir Abdulaziz, and we'll be looking forward to the return of our regular host, Minister Idris Taha. And to that, we're going to give a greeting to him, and that being, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presence, Idris. With us today is our regular panel discussion, other than Idris today, and that to our left right here is Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, Messenger Prophet of Ahezaah, Lord Supreme, and the beautiful and esteemed Holy Queen Mother, Rabia Saleem. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presence.
May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presence as well.
Yes. Always provocative. We've got with A.H.A.D moment, and always very interesting discussion, very enlightening, very mind-opening discussion. In that discussion is generally what we talk about is the universality of religion, or universality of truth, how everything is all one when it comes down to the religion, despite the differences that have come down in the various religions of the paths of the way. We're talking about the religion practiced by those in Christianity, the religion of Islam, the religion of Taoism, and the various world religions, you know, and how people imagine that they're actually different, but they're so much the same. And that has been discussed in very previous shows, many shows, and we're going to further that discussion. In furthering that discussion, there's a thing that we do here, those in association with Holy-Apostle Deen, and how we greet one another, those of the community of Holy-Apostle Deen and the Assembly of Holy-Apostle Deen. And that greeting is that which we share with you in the audience on a weekly basis. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within and about your presence. It's an English greeting that is actually the equivalent of what the Muslims say as Assalamu alaikum, or those in the Jewish faith that say shalom, something. We're giving the essence of peace. We're seeking the essence of the peace of the Almighty to be upon you. And in fact, that greeting is more specifically like a prayer, an invoking of a prayer to be upon a person. It's one that has is very profound in its meaning, and it has a lot of weight. And it's something that for those who give it and for those who receive such a greeting, has to be, we're looking to hope that they'll be mindful of the weight and of the profundity and how deep that greeting is, and how, you know, how that greeting should be welcomed as a thing that is very, very highly given from one's heart if it is done in a sincere fashion. With that, I'd like to maybe just ask the messenger or one of the panel to maybe give a comment on the weight of when one greets one another.
I have a comment. In regards to that particular greeting, it's been giving down from the throne in heaven, from the Lord Most High, in various names of the Lord, as a commandment, and for us to be mindful of it. It's like a complimentary salutation, you know, one that one should be yielding and giving and yielding and receiving. And when I say that, I mean humbled, you know, taken aback, humbling themselves to just the mention of the Lord's attribute and name of the peace, the salam, you know. One of the problems that I see some people having with it is those who use it. Sometimes they take possession of it. You know, they act as though it belongs to them it is a right of theirs when actually it's a privilege. You know, us realizing the Lord El as being Allah and Amen Ra and Aleph and Omega and Yahweh and whatever we recognize it as being, that's a privilege, you know, and it's a great blessing that it would choose anyone whom it chooses to come into that recognition, that realization that it is the one of those many names that has drawn from among its creation of man, its prophets, and then send them down from heaven in the form of human beings to be amongst the human beings to deliver its messages, you know. And so in that complementary expression, we're advised and warned that we're actually seeking for the Lord to manifest in its essence, in that greeting, you know, in that, so that it'd be a link between the individuals that's either giving it or receiving it, the recipients of it or the, you know, the givers of it. And see, it actually, if you understand the depth of, you know, like what is being given in religion, if you understand the depth of what Allah, why Ahezaah would tell us to utilize that phrase, you know, like for the Muslims, the Arabs, you know, assalamu alaikum. If you go further and you look at, you know, Allah, Allahu, that's El, the, breath, and Hu is the essence, the breath and essence of life that has been given to us. And we want that in its peace to be upon those, you know, whom we give those prayers to. You know, and when I say give those prayers to, it's a praise, it's a recognition or remembrance, you know, and it's an honor. In honoring the Lord Most High and saying those things, reminding those whom we come to greet or we see to depart, remember Allah by, you know, may the peace and blessings of Allahu or Allah be within and about your presence or about you. You see, so we're constantly drawing that remembrance and hoping that the Lord be pleased with us and endow us as that in between us and all upon us, that essence. But, you know, one of the problems in people possessing that, you see people throwing that at people like daggers. And you know, there's this phrase in the Holy Quran where Allah says for the believers to be soft with the believers and hard against the disbelievers. And you see people who claim belief throwing daggers at other people who claim belief, but because they're not in their particular organization, in their particular school of thought, walking in the same particular path as they walk in, or have the same understanding or the purpose or the drive, or in some movement, nationalistic movement, you see them throwing that at them like it hard, like a dagger, you know, salam alaikum, you know, and not realizing that they are offending the code, which is the system of Islam, the religion of universal religion of truth. They offending that code, and they violating that code. They violating their own soul, and they violating the grace or the beauty of the Lord Most High, which that is one of the most beautiful statements. You know, when you mention its beautiful names and its powerful names and peace, that's a beautiful name of Allah.
Now, with that being said, you know, Ahezaah is so merciful to us. Ahezaah said for us to remember it much, to rejoin in giving the word of Ahezaah to someone else, wishing them Ahezaah peace and other blessings. It rejoins you in that moment right back to Ahezaah if you're sincere and recognize the deepness of what you're saying. In a lot of cases, like Holy Apostle said, people use it as a dagger or what have you.
Or dart, yeah.
And one of the biggest errors that people make, and Holy Apostle has straightened people out in our community in regards to it, is that, and I see that other Muslim community has not stepped up to the plate to straighten their people out. First of all, it's not my salams.
Right.
It don't belong to me. How can I wish you peace? It's not mine. And then people say, my salams, or lakum, or whatever, taking it, break it up, and throw it down like with no regards, when it is the essence of Ahezaah. And in that, it's so many, excuse me, it's cold in here. It's so many lessons to be learned if you're seeking to learn. I know for myself, when Ahezaah caused me to say those words, it helped me remember that I am not the judge, that I should seek. There's so much that goes on with that. I should seek to pardon others as I seek to be pardoned, because at one time, people had you thinking that if someone gave it to you, if they was a bum in the street, they wasn't deserving of it to be returned back to them, and just like they said, you have sects of Muslims, and that's not it. You have to look at the whole, because in giving it back, it helps you to remember, wait a minute, let me not judge. Who am I not to impart Ahezaah's peace on someone, from my tongue, where it will in that moment purify my heart. You understand? And Ahezaah give us so many tools throughout the course of the day to help us stay safe, to help us reconnect, but we never take advantage of those tools. And just saying that, extending that salutation, is so much to gain, because we have to look at this here, the word peace. Everyone in creation is seeking peace. Whether it's peace in hell, they seeking peace. Everybody want to be at peace with whatever they're involved in. They want to be at peace. You understand what I'm saying? So in that, we have to look at how much hell we create in throughout the course of the day within ourselves and outside of ourselves. And to give that and have someone to wish that upon us is a great blessing in itself. Sometimes we take outward things too much. We take getting to that prayer carpet 5 times a day, knowing that we're not praying, but we never take that word of may Ahezaah peace be upon you as a prayer within itself. We just throw it around. It's so much that Ahezaah gives us to uphold us, and we just overlook it. You understand what I'm saying? And we can always take it when we put it out there and take it and back in and re-examine ourselves to keep ourselves right with Ahezaah. And at the same time, I know when I wish it upon someone else, I'm wishing it upon myself at the same time.
That's where it's supposed to be.
I always say you shouldn't say something to someone if you ain't opening yourself up for it as well, whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Because surely the lesson is for you. Everything you do, that lesson is for you. If someone else benefit from it, then praise be to Ahezaah. But in every step that you take in life and everything that you do in all your action, that is the weight of yourself being in the right hand of Allah and the left hand of Allah. You understand? So,
there is an old saying, that I believe Jesus said, referred to as, it's better to give than to receive, and giving those words up from yourself, may the peace of the Lord El be within about your presence, or assalamu alaikum, or shalom, or whatever. When you do that, you're like we said from the very beginning, that it's a privilege. When you're doing that, what you're really doing is you're being obedient to Ahezaah Allah. You're only being obedient to his commandments. That's all you're doing. That is all you're doing. And the good of what you do is for your own self, where you will receive the rewards of being at peace with your own soul, because your peace is in a fixed position in a circle of the Supreme Being's darkness, which has, in that circle, has its own light of purity. And when you get out of order with that, then your soul automatically goes against you. So when people see someone and they throw that dagger, assalamu alaikum, or you give that greeting and then they refuse to give it back, even if they don't know you, they just judge you. They look at you and judge you, and say, astaghfirullah, get out of here. I didn't give him them salams back. That nigga that belonged to that group there or that group there. Ahezaah, Allah never said you have to greet a stranger. Ahezaah, Allah never said in the Holy Quran that you have to greet another Muslim. What Ahezaah said in the name of Allah, it said when someone greets you, greet them of equal value or greater. Huh?
Yes.
And those who are wise with insight would always greet someone with the greater. You have to understand that the essence of that greeting and that element is Ahezaah's spirit, what you want to become of in that word. Ahezaah give us life through its words. And like we said once before, the universe, uni, uno, is one verse. And it was created by the word be. And an example of that is that when it gives its wisdom, when it sends its messengers, when it before it destroys a world or a people, it always gives its words. And we are told to bow down, to yield to it in humility and humbleness through his words. So if a stranger give me greetings, a disbeliever that I know, if Satan jump up from hell with horns and pitchfork tail and say, assalamu alaikum, I'm going to say, why alaikum salam? Ahezaah didn't tell me to judge who gave me the greetings. It said, those who greet you, greet them equally or better. That's why when Muhammad greeted some Jews of his time, and he said, may the peace of Allah be about you, and they said, may the death of Allah be about you, then he in turn said, well, may the death of Allah be about you as well. And he didn't say no more. But you got people in that old little cliche, that little clique. When you say, may the peace be upon you, they look at you and say, this person ain't from my people, my group, my organization. Wa alaikum. Meaning, and unto you. But see, that reference is something negative, going back to what Muhammad said, wa alaikum, and unto you too, to those people who wish death on them. They, in essence, are doing a great disservice to themselves and to the code of Islam. They themselves have immediately, in those acts, become the advocates of the devil. They looking for the devil's advocates, and they are the devil's advocates. In violating the code of the system of the universal religion of truth that Ahezaah wrote up, that Allah wrote up itself, drew out from the book of life that is seated beneath the throne, and sent down in leaflets and pages and books through his messengers.
And that they're following the example of the Prophet Muhammad, but in the wrong context. They got it in the wrong.
They're not even following the examples of him. They are opposing the examples of Prophet Muhammad, thinking that they're following the examples of Prophet Muhammad. They're following the examples of those who went against the Prophet Muhammad during his time. Those who thought they should be leaders. Anytime Allah sends a messenger, it creates enemies for the messenger. And Prophet Muhammad had a lot of people who thought they should be the leaders. that they should have power over him during his time, not after he passed. And that's why as soon as he passed, the people was out there fighting about who was going to be the leader. When it was indicated that Ali, through Prophet Muhammad's mouth, that Ali was the one who was most worthy at that time, and they out there fighting. Who was tending to the body of Prophet Muhammad? Ali. While they was concerned about who was going to lead, he was still concerned about making sure everything went right with the Prophet. Even though he knew the Prophet's body was no longer housed by the Prophet. You know, he was trying to send Prophet Muhammad off in peace because he knew Prophet Muhammad was still alive, although not in that body. He was giving his salams to Prophet Muhammad in his actions. And then he went further and came out and said to his people, those of you who worship Prophet Muhammad, know that Prophet Muhammad is passed on. Those of you who worship Allah, know that Allah lives forever. Why would he say that so far back in time? Because those people were the same as we are here today. Those mixed up, confused people who were falling off the path, the same people that some people today, the advocates of the devil, tell the multitudes of Muslims to look to follow. The companions, the so-called companions, and the scholars of Islam and of Muhammad. What advocates of the devil, man?
Yeah, it's something. A lot of people, I know that Holy Apostle taught me. I can't say for everybody because I don't know what the lesson said anybody else, but by Ahezaah will, the Holy Apostle taught me through the simplest things, just like we're discussing about may Ahezaah peace be within and about your presence. I'm quite sure people said, wow, I wouldn't even take that so deep. You know, that's the first time that has been explained to me. And one of the other lessons, I know that there's been people that have come through me in the way of, you know, asking me about Islam and going to accept Islam and what have you. And, you know, I try to give them, you know, whatever Ahezaah caused me to give them in regards to that. But people, they how can I say, I like to give an example. They go to the swimming pool and never been in the pool before, but they don't want to get in the baby pool, get wet, and learn how to kick their feet and whatever. They want to go right up and jump off the diving board. And they think that jumping off the diving board would cause them to learn how to swim quicker than to go through the stages in that baby pool. But that baby pool plays an important part, you know, for a non-swimmer.
Yeah.
And that's how they run. They go into Islam and then they say, I got to get deep. I got to get the knowledge. I got to get everything. But I used to
End up doing the doggy paddle.
Help me. What happens is they wind up drowning. They wind up drowning.
Yeah.
They wind up losing their way.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. I've witnessed this. And what Ahezaah showed me, you know, because I had accepted Islam before I married Holy Apostle, but I was learning something a little different, you know, and the Holy Apostle was teaching me the way that Ahezaah had instructed him to teach me. And I used to say, man, this is so simple. Why do we make things so complicated? That's why people say, oh, it's hard to be right in Islam. It's hard to be right in religion. It's hard to be. No, just do the baby steps. And the baby steps, you ain't even got to do the giant steps. You know, that's why Ahezaah said, you take steps towards me and I take many. You understand? But people don't believe that. Surely Ahezaah taught me through this lesson was, want for your brothers and sisters what you want for yourself. We always take that on the material plane. You know, Ahezaah blessed me to always give equally or better to others. But I didn't understand that, you know, the essence of that, of wanting for someone else what you want for yourself. Because you want all for yourself, all of what you consider good. You understand? And in that, and like I said, baby steps. In that, I had to learn the language to understand what was wanting for yourself. What was that thing that I want for myself? Now that I have came to the understanding or what I want for myself. Nobody want what I want for myself. So I can't give that to nobody because they don't want it. But those things helps. You ain't got to go jump into that pool if you just turn your mentality around and look at things in a deeper light. And that, it ain't gonna bust your head, you know, like they said, this is gonna bust you all up, this knowledge and what have you.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yes.
Because if you truly want for others what you want for yourself, then Ahezaah opens another door. It's like we're covered by thousands of veils. And if you follow the steps, you see them veils falling off. You see the benefit. If this country we lived in, if the world we lived in would follow Ahezaah guidance, there would not be all this mayhem in the world. It couldn't exist. Right. See, that mayhem can't exist with truth. Right. Mayhem can't exist with righteousness. And harmony. You understand what I'm saying? So if this society was built on Ahezaah's words that is sent down and followed Ahezaah's instruction, we would live in that peace that we wish upon each other.
Yes.
Well, you know, we talked about something in the other show about the looking from within, inside out. You know, and one of the problems that people have, that this society have, and the society at large in general all throughout the world, the problem they have is the looking from outside within. Right. Okay, trying to look in from out. And what they see is the things, and everybody get caught up with the things. Now, and by one thing you saying, want for your brother or your sister what you want for yourself, what is it that we want? What could Ahezaah possibly be talking about? If you looking from the outside in, then you want all these material things of the world. You want everybody to have the same house, same car, same this, equal this, that, and the other. You know? But what do we really want? If you look from inside out, looking through the eyes of your soul, or the windows of your soul, as they say, what is it that you really want?
Well, that would be peace.
Peace.
We want,
you want
the
peace.
What we're talking about in the Greek.
You want peace. The very thing we talking about.
Yeah.
The Salam. Salam. You want the peace of El. Huh?
Yes.
And we seek the peace of El through satisfying ourselves with all these things. But El says, who will give me a goodly loan?
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly